What's going on, people? Welcome back to Londonpodcast. This is your host, Vinny, aka LDN, and I've got a special guest with me today, my good friend David. What's going on, David? You alright?
Hey, what's up, Vinny? I'm good, G. What about you?
Yeah, all good, bro. All good. Yeah, I had this idea for the podcast a few days ago, and literally, idea that started it, you could confirm it for me, tell the listeners if it's true or not. We literally just have these real conversations on the phone and literally talking about stuff we're doing with our lives, in it, whether it's work related, business related, investing, fitness, and just stuff about life, to be honest. I'm like, shit, we need to do a podcast, right? We need to record this stuff.
Yeah, to be honest, we just talk about motivational stuff in general
Yeah.
to each other. Sometimes it's retarded chat, yeah, I'm not going to lie. But most of the time, it's sort of like motivational stuff to sort of motivate each other and to support each other in a way, you know?
Yeah, definitely, and also support the listeners as well. Maybe they can get something out of it, maybe not. But yeah,
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is honestly just listen to what we have to say. You don't have to listen to everything, but
mm,
just take little hints and stuff like that, and honestly, you'll you'll improve yourself a lot. You know.
yeah, like take out the golden nuggets, filter out the
Yeah.
stuff that you don't need. And
Yeah, not everyone's going to be into property, and not everyone's going to be into fitness, but there's going to be something that you can take away from this, you know?
yeah, definitely. And let me just give another history about how this podcast came about. So 4 years ago, I started a podcast with my friend. And
Mm-hmm.
at the time, I was literally, because I was going to a lot of networking events. I was meeting quite a lot of successful people. Bring on as guests, and I was just literally relying on that aspect of having
Yeah.
people and just relying on people in general. And to be honest, I just feel like if you want to do something with your life, don't wait on other people. Don't be at their mercy. Just do it yourself. If you have to.
Yeah.
And
You do,
yeah,
the worst thing you can do is just sit in your bed, expect everything to come to you, and just magically it happens, you know? In the real world, it doesn't happen like that. You have to go out
yeah.
and actually do shit.
Yeah, make shit
So,
happen, bro. And there's a saying is, good things come to those who wait. But I feel like the real saying should be, good things come to those who hustle.
trust me.
You know,
Yeah. The more
and
effort you put in, you get a reward.
exactly, bro, exactly. And just a quick disclaimer to all the listeners: we're literally speaking about our life experiences, stuff that we've experienced ourselves, stuff that we've implemented ourselves, our losses, our wins. We're not better than anyone. We're just literally people in our story. And we're not experts either. We're just people that have made a lot of mistakes and have gotten, achieved decent stuff as well.
I was going to say, do you want to know? Not know. I was going to say, do you want to teach them or tell them about the subject today?
All right, cool. But before I do that, just listeners, tell them a little bit about yourself, how we know each other, tell them what you're about and what you do.
Okay, so I've known Vinny for a long time. His family and my family have known each other for ages.
Mm,
But yeah, like 40 years or something like that. It's
yeah,
been a
long
long,
time,
long
bro.
time.
Long time.
And yeah, we just sort of motivate each other. We're both sort of similar ages as well, so there's sort of everything clicked together, you know. And then for me, I used to do product design in uni. I did that for a few years, graduated, and then I was working in different roles. I
Mm,
worked in a solar company. I worked as a architect, and
mm,
then I worked as a kitchen designer. And all those roles, I realized that those companies were sort of run in a really bad way. And I
mm,
was like, how am I? These people are meant to be the people I'm looking up to, yeah?
mm-hmm.
But these people are more stupid than me and they're running the business. And I'm meant to be a kid that's fresh out of uni, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it just made me realize that, okay, what I really want to do now is start my own stuff, start my own business. So that's what I'm doing in the process right now. I'm building up my own business, and hopefully by the end of 2021, um, I'll be there.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, and obviously I know what you've got going on. Obviously, it's a secret right now. I won't spill the tea, but all I'm saying is that you put in a lot of effort and a lot of money into it, and it's a banging idea to say the least, man.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of money and a lot of effort. Like hours and hours of work. So
But
and
at the
still
end of
probably
the
more hours and more money to go into it as well. So
yeah, and at the end of the day, it's your own thing, it's your own business. You're responsible for your victory, and you can only answer to yourself now.
yeah, I'm honestly like the idea. I'm taking my time with it, and I'm just going one step at a time, and I'm teaching myself. So like recently, I taught myself how to make a website.
Mm,
Um, so that's been a brand new experience to me. I had to do like the law and sort of like copyright and trademark and all of that stuff.
hmm
I taught myself that. I did get a lawyer to help me out with that.
Yeah,
Um, and then designing an app as well at the beginning. I just taught myself. So, but
definitely, and
again, I taught myself, not taught myself, but I learned all my skills and all my experience from uni.
yeah. And for those that say that uni is a load of crap, it's not necessarily. There's nothing in this world, nothing in this life is ever cut and dry. You go to uni, it's down to you what you do with the degree. It's down to you what you do with the experience and the skills that you learn. You could study whatever, learn it, and then completely fuck it off and then do something else. Or you could think, oh, you know what? Oh, I'm learning like you did. You learned product design. Now you're implementing what you learn into your own product. Yeah, it might be a different type of product. It might be a different sector, but you're still using that knowledge and expertise to benefit yourself.
Yeah, like I know people that was on my course that quit or
Mm,
just finished a course and doing something completely different. They're just like, if you're gonna go and do a uni course, make sure you know what you want to do in 5, 10 years. Yeah,
definitely.
don't just go. Just don't go into a uni course just because it's the easiest. All your friends are going into it,
Mm,
or whatever, there's good parties there. Just do something that you want to do, because at
of
the end
course.
of the day, it's your life. Yeah, no one's gonna cater for you. No one's gonna gift you fucking a mansion with a statue of yourself on the fucking roof. Like, no
Yeah,
one's gonna
man.
give you that shit. You have to work for it. So as long as you know what you want in your head, then fine, whatever.
Trust me, and for those that don't know about me, obviously I took that route. I went to uni and I studied law, which is obviously like a very, it's a professional topic. I,
Hmm.
I got a decent grade from it, but when I was obviously in the course, my main focus, even before I went to uni, was getting into property.
Hmm.
Even when I graduated law, my main aim was to get into conveyancing property law because it all sort of interlinks into what I want to do. And
Hmm.
yeah, so that just a little background about myself. Right now I'm in sort of property industry. Like you've seen it firsthand what I'm about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've always had like a business orientated family. I've always had family members. I've seen to it. And then a few years ago, I just thought, I'm gonna help my parents, my family get into property. And now I do property management and I work in a job where I deal with rentals and property management. So I'm basically um, in the industry I said I was going to go into. But the
Hmm.
thing about it is, one day I want to sort of get my own property portfolio going. So that segues into our topic of today, and that is financial freedom.
Mm.
So, David, what is your interpretation or understanding about the term financial freedom?
Okay, so financial freedom for me
Yeah.
is basically what it says on the tin. Being financially free to do whatever you want to do.
Mm,
And you don't have to be the next Elon Musk, okay? You don't have to be the next Jeff Bezos. As long as you've got enough financial freedom, in quotations, to do whatever you want. So, for example, let's say you're working in a 9 to 5 job, you
mm,
only get 20 days holiday,
yeah.
um, you're working your balls off or whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's a girl that's listening. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah,
Try not to be. No,
let's
let's
leave
not
that
be
shit out of it,
sexist.
bro. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, you're just working really hard, and let's say
Working your
you wanted to
socks
go.
off, yeah.
Yeah, you're working your socks off, and you
Uh,
wanted to go on a holiday, but you have no more days off. Like you're stuck, you know. The financial freedom basically means having enough income to do whatever you want. Yeah.
mhm.
If you wanna chill at home and have kids, and you still want an income, then that's financial freedom. If you want to go traveling the world and sort of see different cultures and countries, and you still have an income coming in, then that's financial freedom. As long as you've got that income coming in
Mm,
and it's making enough money for you to live, then that's financial freedom.
exactly. And the income coming in when you're not working is obviously, in other terms, it's called passive income.
Yeah.
There's two terms for it. One of them's passive income, and the other one is residual income. And
Hmm.
that's literally, it speaks for itself. Money coming in without you having to work for it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, my definition of financial freedom is similar to what you said. Doing what you want, whenever you want, wherever you want to do it, and also you're not at the mercy of an employer. You
Hmm.
know, like I've had experiences when I was at uni, I wasn't working, I was broke, yeah,
Hmm.
and I was at the mercy of my friends borrowing money, or I was at the mercy of my parents giving me money, and in my opinion, that's not financially free. Ultimately, when you're literally working for someone, yeah, not that I have anything against 9 to 5s, because like we all have to start somewhere, you know. We all need those stepping stones to not only give us the money but to teach us the experiences. Yeah, when you're at the mercy of someone, bro, you're not financially free, bro, because you have to do those. You're signing a contract where you have to work those 8 to 10 hours a day. You literally have a limited amount of time free for yourself, and you're working for someone else's dream. You're not working for your own dream. But my
Hmm.
definition of financial freedom is completely similar to yours. Being able to think one day, just wake up and think, oh, I fancy going on holiday. You know, you book the holiday, and you've got the money to do that, and you still got money behind you, and you still don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You can do whatever the fuck you want whenever you want to do it.
Yeah. If you want to buy some new clothes, if you want to buy that new car, if you want to buy a new watch, that's financial freedom.
Yeah, and
Um,
yeah. Before you continue, I've got one thing that there's a lot of preconceptions which I think is complete crap. And people confuse financial freedom with being a multi-millionaire.
yeah.
You can literally be financially free without being a multi-millionaire, without even being a millionaire. Even if you
Hmm.
just have a comfortable income coming in and you don't have to answer to no one, that's still financial freedom. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, it's basically down to your income and then how much expenses you're doing per month, per day, per week, maybe per year.
Mm,
Um, so as long as your income is greater than your expenditure per whatever day, year, week, month,
yeah.
then you're good. And especially if you've got that income where you've got time on your hand, you know. So a lot of people, a majority of people work 9 to 5. Yeah,
They exchange time for money.
yeah, they exchange time for
Mm,
money. The rich people or the people that are financially free, um, they're getting that income, but also have time to do whatever they want to as
Yeah,
well.
so that income for them, the money is buying them time.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the opposite when you really think of it.
Yeah, the most valuable thing to rich people is time. It's not money. Money comes and goes. Who cares about money? It's
Definitely,
how much time you have.
definitely. And I remember we literally, well, we're not just for the listeners listening out there. We're not just talking like this because we're on a podcast and we want to sound high and mighty. No, we have these conversations on an everyday basis, don't we?
Yeah, yeah, we do. To be honest, yeah.
And
So
this is I remember this is something you always say to me, and I completely agree with it. And money comes and goes, and you can't buy back time. You
yeah,
can't buy time back. Once time is
yeah,
gone, that's it. You know.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, like
Mm,
money, just go to a bank, ask a friend, go work, like put some money into certain shares or whatever.
mm,
There's ways to get money. Yeah, money always comes and goes. So you're spending it. You're basically shitting money out as well when you buy food and then eat it. So
mm.
um, money always comes and goes, but time is always disappearing. So might as well
Literally.
make the most of it.
Mm.
Um, I know it's all well being comfortable in your bed and sort of doing exactly the same thing every single day. But sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone, because the more you get out of your comfort zone, the more reward you'll get.
Yeah, definitely, bro. And honestly, I've met people 4 or 5 years ago. I used to go to all these networking events, and I've met like these sort of multi-millionaires. They're quite well known on YouTube. And they're
Yeah.
obviously they're rich in business, you know.
Hmm.
And these people, they constantly live outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, they're constantly working on their business, or they're constantly, doing world tours, or constantly being at the gym, working on their body. You know, it's all about getting into a good routine and a good habit, you know.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, it's in your average day, you're probably up for about 12 hours a day. Yeah.
yeah,
So in that time, you can do 8 hours of something. You can be productive in 8 hours, or even like for me, I do 6 hours of productive work every single day,
mm,
and then I do like maybe one or two of fitness, and then maybe half an hour of reading, and then the rest of the time is just me time.
me time.
So yeah, and that's perfectly comfortable for me. I work pretty much every single day, and then sometimes I just take a day off. I'll be like, okay, and today I'm just going to chill, relax, unwind, and yeah,
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. And it goes back to what you were saying. You work 6 hours a day. You know how like the usual preconception about working is, oh, you have to work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, blah blah blah. Well,
hmm,
when the clock hits 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you go home. But what people
hmm,
really don't realize is, and I read an interesting book about it called Deep Work. Yeah.
hmm,
When you're working on a work week, on a work day, you're literally your mental capacity can only really do 4 to 5 hours of productive work.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and all the other hours at work when people say they're working, they're really just procrastinating, looking at their emails, looking at their phone. But in order to get real deep work and real productive work that's going to get you results, you literally got to zero focus in. You only really need 4 or 5 hours, man.
yeah. So like for me, I can bang out a bunch of work in 4 or 5 hours, and you'd
Mm,
be surprised on how much stuff you can do in 4 or 5 hours. If you put your focus and put your mind to it, you can get a bunch of shit done. The main sort of problem that I see in a lot of these like organizations that I've used to work for was people would have coffee breaks, people would have
mm.
smoke breaks, they'd chit chat to each other, have long toilet breaks, maybe a longer lunch break, and sometimes they'll just switch off at the computer.
Yeah, and you see
So
all this stuff you were saying, break here, break there, coffee, chatting. You literally, your brain is multitasking, and when you're multitasking, you're not putting in your 100% on your work.
yeah,
So that means you're not getting 100% results.
yeah. So like for
Yeah.
me, I think working 5 days a week for employees is just stupid.
Mm,
I reckon, because for me, I'm going to start my own business quite soon, and
yeah.
probably in the next 6 months to a year, I'm going to start employing sort of people. And my idea in my head is I'm going to have people work 4 days a week and then 4 days off.
Mm,
And within those 4 days working, instead of working from, let's say, 8 till fucking 5 or 9, is it 8 till 5? No, it's eight
no,
till 4 and then nine
nine
till
to
5.
five and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do tasks per day. If someone can do a task that day and get it done, then they can go home.
So so basically you want to manage your staff based on productivity
Time.
rather than
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I just rather get them working efficiently, and then they've got the reward of, okay, I can go home, relax, chill with my family, chill with my husband or wife or whatever, go do my own thing.
Mm, mm.
Um, I think that's a more productive way. And
For your
also,
employees, you're saying.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also cheekily, you can actually pay them a bit less, but
True say. But from first hand experience, yeah, I've worked 5 days a week straight, and to be honest with you, man, like it's so easy to feel burnt out. Yeah, just picking up from where we left off, we were talking about the work-life balance,
hmm,
and yeah, we were just saying how from experience, if you work a whole like 5 day week, 6 day week, it's so easy to get burnt out and feel burnt out, and then you're not performing at your 100%. But from
mm-hmm,
your idea of when you're going to start hiring employees, hopefully in the next year, you're thinking of doing 4 days on, 4 days off. Could you go more into
yeah.
depth about that?
Oh, yeah, so 4 days on, 4 days off. The reason I want to have people doing 4 days on, 4 days off is because I think you can cut down a 5 day working week into 4 days.
Mm,
Um, the reason is because I think a majority of people have coffee breaks, smoke breaks, they chit chat, have long lunch breaks maybe, or just sort of wander and sort of not really concentrate on what they're doing within
mm,
that sort of day, you know? So I think you can cut down the days to be four. And then also how I'm going to do it as well is, instead of people working from 9 till 5, I'm going to have people working from whenever basically,
mm.
and they'll be able to do tasks that day. So as long as they've done that task for the day, then that's perfectly fine. You know, they can go off home, they can go see their family, do whatever. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing about having a work-life balance, there's a lot of benefits on, your mental health, your well-being, and
Yeah,
I think that stuff is very important. I think it's just as important as money, to be honest with you.
yeah. A lot of people sort of worry about money and stuff like that, but in reality, you should really focus on your time. Even if you're working a 9 to 5, you should focus on your time. A lot of companies sort of try and manipulate people to work
Mm,
as much as possible,
yeah,
or as little as possible as well. With my company, I'm going to pay people a decent amount and also have a flexible time for them as well.
yeah, definitely. So it's in a way, it's a win-win for both sides.
Yeah, it's a win-win for both sides. As long as your employees are happy, then they're going to work the best they can for you. So,
Yeah, and they're going to perform well, and the company will benefit.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah.
Brilliant. So I wanted to move on to like the fundamentals of financial freedom. Um,
Hmm.
so 5 years ago, how old am I? 23. But when I was about 18,
How old are you?
so how old? Obviously I'm 23. I was 18. I think I was 18 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I came across this
Quick
book.
maths. Yeah.
Hear me?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, quick maths. So I came across this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad 5 years ago, and I read it, and the main lessons that I got from it were that rich people buy assets, poor people buy liabilities.
Hmm.
And for those that don't know what an asset is something that you put your money into that's going to make you money.
Hmm.
A
Yeah.
liability is something that you're gonna buy or put your money into, and it's gonna lose you money, and it's gonna go down in value. So, give me some examples of assets and liabilities. What's your understanding of those?
So a lot of people think buying a house and living in it is a asset.
Hmm.
Um, Actually, it's not. You're paying off a mortgage just to live in that house, so technically it's a liability. Okay, the value of the house will eventually go up um,
Yeah,
over time, but in reality, you're paying off a mortgage and you're having to keep the op costs to sort of like make sure the property is all sort of like maintained in a sort of like a decent condition.
of course.
It's a liability.
Yeah, and
Um,
in that sense as well, you're literally because you're living within it. You're literally just spending money. You're
yeah,
not using it to make money. But
yeah,
on the flip side, if you had buy-to-let property and you didn't live in it, you had tenants living in it, that would be classed as an asset because you're getting a residual income from it.
yeah. So
Yeah,
as long as you're getting rental income from it, then that's good, you know. Um,
exactly.
anything
But
that's it's anything that basically just generates you money, and you don't have to pay you don't have to pay that much to use it, you know.
exactly, and to be honest with you, like I deal with a lot of people that obviously buy houses and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know if it's because we live in a Western society, if it's only a UK thing. But I've
Mm.
realised a lot of people they buy houses, they sort of they've got the lifetime commitment of a mortgage, and they come with that sort of energy of oh I just made an investment, I just bought an asset. Nah, mate, you just bought a liability because you're not, what I mean, you're not investing in it. You're literally living and spending
Yeah,
money in it.
yeah.
So I feel like it's important to know the difference between the two. So
Mm.
give me an example of liabilities and apart from a house you live in.
So a liability can be something like a nice car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So people want to have like a really nice flashy car, and
Hmm.
you might be able to afford it. Yeah. You might be in a position where you're working a decent job and
Mm.
you've got enough income coming in where you can afford that nice car you've always dreamt about.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, um, you're paying off a liability.
Hmm.
That car's going to go and devalue in sort of its price,
Hmm.
especially if it's a brand new car as well.
Yeah.
Um, and all you're doing is just basically driving a bunch of debt in a way.
Hmm. Literally.
So
And funny
it's
you mention that because I feel like we've had this conversation before where I look at the world and I look at Instagram reality, this sort of westernized, materialistic, superficial world. And I always say to you, bro, I always say, oh mate, people care more about looking rich than actually being rich.
Yeah, I'd rather look like a fucking poor homeless guy and then be able to pull out 50 grand and rub it in someone's face. That's
Mm.
what I want to do in reality, you know.
Oh, I'd
So
rather I'd rather look like a bum and have assets behind me worth hundreds of thousands to millions, and people not know about it, and be some, typical dickhead you see on, pardon my language, you see on social media, driving around their rental, finance to up to their eyeballs. Oh, look at me, I'm rich. Oh, I got
yeah,
this, I got Rolex. Oh, no, mate, that shit isn't going up in value anytime soon. It's only going to
yeah,
depreciate.
yeah. I want to say a shout out to my dad.
Hmm.
So back in the day, basically, I was gonna finance a car, and I think it's like £300 per month. And the car was like 18,000 at the time, and it was going to be my first car, and I was working real hard for it, and I was like, yeah, I want this nice car, I'm gonna be able to pay for it, blah blah blah. And then I think I was gonna pay for it for like 5 years or something like that, something crazy long. I would still probably technically own it, or have to pay for it. But yeah, I would have been paying out my eyeballs for the car, and now that car is worth probably about 7,000, if that.
You would have still been, so to this day, you would have still been paying off the initial value, while that car's already lost more than half of it.
Yeah, and also the interest on top as well.
And
So
the
I would have
interest
been,
as well. Wow.
yeah, I would have been fucked about 25 grand altogether, pretty much. So I can't afford to blow 25 grand like that. I wish I could, but no.
And for those listening, what car was that, by the way?
That was at the time is a brand new Seat Leon. It's like a FR. It's like a sport one. It's like a 3-door sport car. Like, yeah, it's good. It's a good car, but they're just cheap as fuck now. So
but now that you've sort of grown, you've matured mentally, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the nice car, or would you rather have the house?
I'd rather have a lot of assets. That's what I'm talking about. I want to have a lot of assets in my portfolio. That's what I want.
And
I'd rather have a lot of assets. That's what I'm talking about. I want to have a lot of assets in my portfolio. That's what I want.
And so for those listening, could you mention more examples of assets, what they could be?
So a simple asset, well, it's not really simple, it's more of a complex asset. It could be something as like owning a business.
Okay, so for me, another example of an asset is obviously real estate.
Yeah.
And that's either, rental property, or you could flip property as well. And that's
That's a
obviously,
way too.
that's a way of doing it where, you buy, messed up properties at auctions. You put the time, the effort, and the grind, obviously, to build them back up, and you sell them for a profit. So, and obviously, there's the long game. People play with real estate as well. You buy it for a certain amount of time. You wait 5 years, you sell it on, and you make profit out of that as well. So that's a real estate. That's an example. And then obviously stocks and shares as well.
Yeah, you have to know about what type of stocks and shares to get into. So for me, right now, the more I speak about this share, and the more people buy into it, the more money it makes for me. So this is why I want to speak about it. So there's a company called IAG. They're a Spanish company that owns like British Airways and a few other European not airline manufacturers, airline sort of like services. So if you want to go on holiday or you want to get something transported, blah blah blah, they own quite a lot of European airlines. And obviously, COVID right now has sort of affected people from going on holiday, vacations, and stuff like that. So obviously, the whole entire holiday sort of sector has been sort of put on its knees. Basically, it's not as good as it was. So for me, what I've done is I've invested into IAG, which owns British Airways, and at the moment, I bought it at 147 per share, and now it's at like 210, 220, and this is in March, and we're still in technically lockdown. So when the lockdown does finish in June, I reckon a lot of people are just going to be going on holidays. It's going to be a big influx of people just going abroad, and I reckon that's when the share price is going to go up. So it's basically, if you want to buy a share, just do it logically. Think about how that share is going to affect in the next 5-6 months.
Mm-hmm.
When I do buy shares, I don't do short term. I do long term.
Okay.
So minimum 6 months, sometimes a year, 2 years, 3 years. It depends on what I think is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
So
And so you want to tie that into the financial freedom aspect. You're not doing no runaround for that money going up. You literally just gotta wait and be patient.
yeah, I can just
Yeah.
sit on my ass and just
Yeah.
let the government sort out their stuff, and then let my share goes up. People book
Mm.
holidays, done.
But the only thing
So
about stocks and shares, obviously, I don't invest personally in stocks and shares, but I know people that do, and I know there's a lot of trial and error, and there's a lot of calculation involved when it comes to stocks and shares.
yeah, you have to know what's what basically.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, buy the Amazon share, buy the Tesla share."
Yeah.
They're not very good shares to buy. To
Yeah,
be
to
honest.
be honest, I'm a strong believer. Like this is not just in business or in finance or in investing, but in life. I'm a strong believer in do the opposite of what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, buy low and then sell high.
Yeah, man.
That's the main model.
But what I'm saying is, if there's too many people buying a product, that product would automatically go down in value
Hmm.
because too much circulation makes the price go down. That's why for example, the PS5s.
Yeah.
The more limited something is, the more value it has.
Yeah. But
Scarcity.
I reckon you can probably still sell your PlayStation 5 for like 650
Like I could,
easy.
if I could probably sell it for
700.
over a grand if I wanted to, if I really pushed it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
you'll probably find someone out there that wants it.
yeah, that's what I mean. Scarcity creates demand. But yeah, so let's talk about other examples of assets.
So for example, there's additional assets where you can buy like jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry's a
Obviously,
big one. Jewelry's,
obviously, you got to know what types of jewelry you're buying. I'm not into jewelry myself.
mm,
All I know is I don't. I feel so bad, but Rolexes aren't an asset. Okay,
they are, they're not.
Rolexes, they're not.
Mm,
Some of them are. Some of the really rare Rolexes, yeah, they are. They're the ones from like the 30s and stuff like that, and like 20s. Um, yeah, they're really rare because they're creeping on for 100 years old. But the new modern ones, they're manufactured.
mm.
So, okay, it might have the name, the prestige, and the price, but in reality, it's just the same as any other watch, you know?
And
So,
that goes back to the point I made about people rather look rich than be rich as well.
yeah, yeah.
Mm,
It's like a lot of people. So when I was out last summer, there's a lot of girls wearing like these, the Balenciaga sneakers.
the
You know,
ones that look
the
like socks.
yeah, the one that
Yeah,
looks like socks. And
yeah,
I'm just thinking, why would you want to look like everyone else? You don't stand out at all. And those
yeah.
things that you're wearing on your shoes, in 2, 3 years' time, they're going to be worthless because no one wants them because they'll be out of fashion. So people that buy really expensive clothing, sometimes I buy expensive clothing myself here just to
Mm,
make me feel good, but I don't buy it because other people are buying it or it's
because you
fashionable.
like it.
It's because I like it. So yeah,
Yeah, man. I'll be honest with you. I've got a few nice pieces, but my method when buying clothes, especially designer, is I make sure that payment I make is gonna last me minimum 5 years.
yeah,
Because it can't be no crappy Balenciaga that sucks. It has to be something good. You know what I mean? It has to be something good quality that's gonna last me a while.
yeah, yeah,
And but yeah, so back to the asset talk. Obviously cryptocurrency. That's a big topic that everyone's been investing in
yeah.
recently.
Again, you got to know what and when to buy. At the moment, uh, 2021, when March,
Mm,
yeah, I reckon it'll still go up. It's still a good time. It's still quite high, and especially today, um, I think it's at what 43,000, like for Bitcoin, for example.
yeah.
Let me see.
Probably I think it's gone up. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
gone up to
43,000.
is it 43K?
Yeah. So at the moment, it's still quite high. Again, it's exactly the same with shares as well. Buy when it's low and then sell when it's high. And to be honest, like with cryptocurrencies, you can either buy an actual cryptocurrency and use it for like exchange, like money wise. Because cryptocurrencies, okay, first of all, cryptocurrencies aren't a currency. It sounds really weird, but it's not.
What is
It
it
actually
actually?
acts more like it's a commodity. So it actually acts more like gold in a way.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, you can't
So
physically
back
touch
in,
it.
you can't physically touch it, but it's just a generation sort of codes. It's a sort of like what's the word?
It's literally
I've forgotten the
software. It's
word.
crypto, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically cryptocurrency. It's encrypted currency where people can send money to each other. But
Mm.
for me, I don't think it's a currency because the governments control all the currencies. They're gonna put a stop to it if they did do that. So a lot of what these currencies are now doing is saying, okay, we're a commodity. So like gold, for example, they're just saying like, okay, we're like gold or oil or whatever, we're like
So
a value.
they're using any type of loophole to basically
Get around
survive
this
in the open
system.
market.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
example, a few months ago, XRP, which is a cryptocurrency, got fucked up by the SEA, which
Hmm.
is like the American federal system.
Yeah.
Um, and basically XRP wanted to be a currency like the rest of them, basically.
Okay.
And I think it's SCA. I might be wrong, but it's that one of the American federal systems basically said, okay, you can't do that. We're taking you to court, blah blah blah.
Mm.
And basically the price slumped, and then XRP came out and said, oh, we're a commodity, and that's a loophole how to get around the system.
Yeah, and funny enough, yeah, we
So
talk about assets, you talk about financial freedom, you talk about rich people. Honestly, man, the wealthy people, they're always using loopholes, whether it be tax loophole, offshore accounts, you name it, they're using it, you know.
yeah, so what can I say this? So I've been looking on how to pay minimum taxes. So basically, there's a
Wait,
few
hold on, but
loopholes.
before you continue, no, no, no,
I
no, no,
don't
it's
want
not.
to incriminate myself.
No, it's not even an incrimination thing. Like before you continue, all the listeners, look at your favorite brands. Look at Apple. Look at Nike. You think these American brands pay taxes? Mate, there's
No,
history of these brands not paying taxes, and
yeah, so,
they're multi-billion-dollar corporations. So if
yeah,
a sole trader, an entrepreneur, wants to, you know, put his expenses down in his tax return, there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
yeah. So there's a few ways on how to avoid tax. To be honest, my system is exactly the same for every single government in the world, pretty much. So it doesn't really matter where you are. But yeah, so for example, a lot of these big companies, right? So
Mm,
let's take a car company like Mercedes, okay? We take
yeah.
Mercedes, for example. So what Mercedes do is when they do make profits, what they do is invest that into more factories, they invest that into building more cars.
Yeah.
Basically, what they do is take their profits and invest it into more assets. And how the governments work around the UK is, not around the UK, but around the world, is you get taxed on your profit.
Yeah.
So instead of being taxed on your profit and that's going to the government, it's going to a waste,
Mm,
invest it in a asset and then you're generating more income for yourself. So
100%.
that's how a lot of these big companies work is they buy assets. So for example, you'd be surprised on like Apple, for example, right?
Yeah.
Or like let's take McDonald's.
Mm,
McDonald's, a lot of people confuse them with their business model is selling fast food.
yeah.
It's not selling fast food. Fast food, selling the fast food doesn't really make that much profit for them, to be honest, because their food is quite cheap. So,
What does
but
make
what they
profit?
do, what makes them the profit is how much lands they have.
I
So
know
each,
you got that from Rich Dad Poor Dad.
yeah,
I remember
I copied it.
that. I remember reading
So
that.
yeah, yeah. So basically, McDonald's, they have all the prime locations all over the world, pretty much.
Mm,
Um, for example, in like New York, you find them in like Times Square, all over Manhattan. Pretty much, you find McDonald's. You find them in Tokyo. You find them in the central places in London.
hmm
And because they own that space, the value of that space goes crazy after a while. And
Obviously,
also they generate money from selling food as well.
yeah,
So it's a win-win situation for them.
it's crazy, and this is the thing about sort of financial freedom, investing, finances. This type of stuff is not taught in schools, man.
Mm.
So, like,
Yeah,
what's
it's not taught in
yeah?
schools, no.
To be honest with you, my opinion of the school system is literally. I think you already know. They just want to tailor you to go to university, um, get yourself into debt, and then work a 9 to 5 until you're 65, and the only saving grace you've got is probably a crappy pension at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Um, shit, sorry. Oh! Okay, I don't know if you can hear that. That's just my mouse. Like,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, most educational systems, they teach you how to be a good employee,
hmm
not how to employ people. They just teach you sort of basic maths, basic science, and some English. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's down to you if you want to go and make your own company and you're comfortable with that,
hmm
or you're just going to be comfortable working for someone else doing a 9 to 5, and then at the end of the day you're going to get a pension that's probably worth 10 quid. Like,
hmm
so
There's a
it depends on what
difference,
you want
man.
to do. It depends on what you want to do in life.
It depends on
Some people,
yourself.
yeah, it depends on yourself, but like, for example, you can work for a business. That's perfectly fine. Um, as long as you're putting your money away and you're saving it, and then potentially using that for like um, to grow assets, then
hmm
that's cool. But if you're just spunking your money away with just crazy shit like having a nice car, having a nice house, um, paying for your girlfriend to be with you or your husband to be with you or boyfriend or whatever,
mm mm
it's just all a waste, you
So
know.
from what you're saying, it's not necessarily whether you want to be an entrepreneur or not. Obviously, that's the option. That's an option, but it's more to do with where you choose to allocate your funds.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have the education on how to use money because money is a tool. It's not.
It's a resource, isn't it? It's not.
It's a resource to generate more money.
Mm,
It's kind of weird how you think about it. It's money makes money. It literally does. So the more you make, the better, you know. So if, for example, you could be working in a job that pays you 150,000 a year, as
yeah,
long as you're saving, let's say 50,000 of it, then you're doing good.
you're all
Um,
good.
but
Mm.
if you're spending every single last penny on fucking stupid shit, that's wasting
It
your
won't benefit
income,
you.
that won't benefit you, then you're doing it wrong. That's not financial freedom.
So at the
Ooh.
same time, it all comes down to lifestyle choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder as well. Why do you think there's been people that have won hundreds of millions in the lottery and they've spunked it all because they don't know how to look after their money properly. You know.
Yeah, it's all down to financial education.
Mm.
Again, money is just a tool, and it comes and goes. Like, who cares? Like, we've both been broke ourselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're both Like you came from Camden, I came sort of like from Hackney, Tottenham area. Like
Yeah.
they're not the most glamorous neighborhoods in London.
No,
Um,
not at all.
but what we do know is financial education and how to make money work for us. You know,
Definitely, and
we don't
that's
work. We don't work for money. We make money work for us.
definitely, and even and just in case anyone thinks that we're like shitting on 9 to 5s, like we're really not. We're just telling people that there's more options out there, and yeah, working a 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that. It's literally you've got to see it as a stepping stone, as a way to get money and invest that money and treat that money carefully. You know.
Yeah. As long as you treat your money good, then you're perfectly good. You know,
Mm,
like. But if you're just spunking your money away and just wasting it, then you're not gonna have anything at the end. You know, you're not gonna
no.
have any reward.
It's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
do all of that stuff, spunk your money here, waste it there, and then at the end of it, you've got nothing to show for it.
Mm. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about, like you said, balance. It's all about financial education and being smart with it. You see,
Yeah. A
and
lot of people also um, they think, oh, going to the pub and doing this and doing that is um, a lifestyle. Like you have to do it every weekend.
mm,
Uh, like, okay, it's cool to do that every weekend, but if you're spending every single last bit of your income every month or every week doing that, then no, stop straight away. Make
yeah,
sure
of
you're saving some money and then in something that's going to go up in value.
course, of
So
course.
maybe invest in a small flat in the north of the UK where the properties are a lot more cheaper. Um,
Mm,
and even buying a property, a lot of people are scared about doing that. They look at the price of a property. I think the average price of a property in the UK is 250,000.
yeah,
You
and
don't
and
have
and
to
by, and
have.
by and by the way, you've obviously I taught you a lot about property, and a lot of people I've spoken to about property, their perception is they just think about London. Because in London, a fucking doormat costs 500,000. Nah, mate, you got to sort of broaden your horizon, you know, and think that
Yeah,
there's more.
London isn't the whole entire UK. That's what most
London
people
isn't the
think.
whole UK, first of all, and second of all, you don't need millions of pounds to get into property.
No, you honestly you probably need. Uh, it depends if you have like an average job where you're getting let's say 22 to 23,000 and you save I don't know 5 6
Mm.
thousand a year, you can buy a property in 2 years.
Honestly, like obviously, I don't want to give too much information out there, but we've got our own little projects in the pipeline going,
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, I guess like the more this sort of channel, this sort of podcasts develops, the more we'll have to show for it. You know, this is our journey. This is my journey. You know, the listeners are gonna be along for the ride, and they're gonna, they're gonna see, they're gonna listen to, our mistakes, our victories, and everything that comes along with it.
yeah. So, for example,
Yeah,
guys, we're not teaching you the basics. We're just giving our advice. So
yeah,
you can take it
guys.
with a pin. You can take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, guys. We're
Don't
not.
copy. Don't copy everything that we do.
Yeah, exactly, guys. We're not financial advisors. We're just literally people have had real life experiences and have prospered and have taken losses like every other human being. No one is perfect, but the difference between us and most people is that we actually learn from mistakes and we've turned that loss into a lesson, you know?
Yeah, to be honest, I think me and you have learned quite a lot, maturity wise, in life and how people treat us
Mm,
and how, let's say businesses work, how, the rich people live in the world.
yeah,
Um, we've learned quite a lot, even though we're quite young in
Yeah.
age.
And
So
it's funny you mentioned about obviously we come from bad areas. I've literally went from living in an estate, full of drug dealers, full of drug dealers. The school I went to, a bunch of people my year went to prison. Now I'm literally I work in an industry where I'm working with and I'm meeting multi-millionaires and investors. So
pretty much every day.
pretty much every day. So I've seen sort of both sides of the fence. And
Yeah.
to be honest with you, yeah, I'd rather live on the better side of the fence where the grass is greener, but at the same time, it's important to have that sort of understanding of this is reality, this is the world, know where you're going. And yeah, that's sort of my take on it. And yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you learned something. Tune in for more of the podcast.